Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I would like to sculpt the Incredible Hulk and show you how I do it. Here you see me preparing the armature using normal flour aluminium wire, aluminium foil and some tape to keep the foil in place. I had a lot of green clay left over, and this is the perfect project to use all this old clay. I mixed it up in my pasta roller to have a nice green color, and now I start applying the first layer of clay to my prepared armature so I can continue sculpting. Here you see my base layer of the bust is finished. The next step is drawing in the center line and the eye line so I can start building up my facial landmarks. My center lines also help me posing the model. This is still a very early stage of the sculpture, so I'm trying to establish my fundamental forms, trying to build up the eye sockets, and now I start adding the first volumes. I work from there slowly, adding bit by bit. I continue building up volume by adding clay, because I need those volumes to create shadow later on the sculpture. Here I start adding the bony underlayer structure of his head. I think, in my opinion, if you have this in mind, there is a bone underneath the flesh. It makes your sculpture always look a bit more lifelike. As you see in the beginning, I'm just working with a handful of tools, just standard sculpting tool, the end of the brush and my fingers, that's all you need. I have come to the stage now where I needed to add my ears. So I built very simple forms of the ear, so I have an idea where they sit in the right position. Nothing fancy, just very simple ear-shaped little lumps of clay, and I can continue working on the sculpture. I noticed his forehead was a bit too flat, so I started adding more clay and give it the right shape I'm looking for. Also, I'm building up the volume of the temporal muscle. To clean the rough surface of the clay, most of the time I use a rake tool. I go across the clay very gently, trying not to mess up the volumes I have built up previously, so be careful doing this. As we're sculpting the Hulk, I realized his chest is way too skinny, so I need to beef him up a bit more, so he's pretty pumped. Now he's more like the Hulk, so don't be afraid, change your design or volumes of your sculpture in between your sculpting process. Those decisions will make your model look better. Making eyes for your sculpture is always fun. In this case I used fimo, rolled some balls of clay, squished them down, painted the iris, added UV resin, hardened the resin with a UV lamp. Man, and look at these eyes. Now, having our eyes finished, it's time to add them into these empty holes in his head. Is he not pretty? When the eyes sit at their right place, I add clay to reinforce them in the head so they don't move around later. The Hulk got a very noticeable portrait, so I'm trying to get there by adding volumes at certain areas to build up the facial features. I drew back my center line in his face. That helps me working on the symmetry of his portrait. I'm adding now little balls of clay to his nostrils to build up the basic volumes of his nose, but I still keep it simple and very loose, so I'm not going too far with details on his nose. Now I'm using a ball stylus tool, giving his nostrils a bit more shape and also working out the holes underneath the nose. His eyes staring too much at me. And to be honest, it creeps me out a bit, so I decided I have to add his eyelids. That's better now. Now I'm start adding more muscle features on his really crunchy, angry forehead, also his eyebrows. Everything is really pulled together and down because he's looking angry, so I have to build up all those little volumes to get this really angry look. It takes a bit, but it's worth doing it. Here can you see what I'm talking about? He already looks angry, because he's always angry. Now I come to the point where I have to work on odd little details in his face, give him the character he deserves to have. Everything needs to be cleaned up very gently. I have to look that the volumes are right. Man, don't give him that look. Working on his lower lip, you have to clear the edges so they catch some highlights. They have to be very clean and crisp. Here you can see me adding a bit volume to his upper lip because it was too thin. There's no other way around doing it. It's a very time-consuming process. It takes time. You have to be careful because otherwise, if you add too much in one go, you can destroy the overall look of your figure. You see me always adding little volumes at the time till I get the right look or the expression I'm looking for. So take your time. It's really worth doing it. Now I'm using a silicone clay shaper, pressing into the clay, creating all the little folds and wrinkles. Also I use cling film and the loop tool to press gently into the surface of his forehead, deepening his folds with soft edges and giving him a little bit more character and a mean look. Finally, I'm finished with detailing and texturing the model. Now it's time to clean it. For this I use isopropyl alcohol, a soft brush. That will help cleaning all the tool marks and fingerprints of the model. It will also help make the look of the skin way more realistic. But be careful not overdoing it, because the alcohol can smush the clay very easily. But otherwise it's a great method to clean your model. We have to sculpt the hair, and I would like to tint the hair a little bit darker, so what we're going to use is black fimo and a bit of the green leftover clay. I don't know if I need that much black, maybe half of it, we'll see. I'm using my good old pastel roller, mixing them two colors to get a very dark green, almost blackish color for his hair. So let's go.
A few moments later.
Oh. That was unexpected. Think. Stupid rollers toast. Meow. In a minute. It's always good to have a backup. I was lucky having a second one flying around in the workshop. Now we are ready to add the hair. I use Sculpey Bacon Bond so nothing will fall off later and it will be bold again. Using a brush, spreading out a bacon bond, and then I can start applying the next layer of clay. I'm adding little rods of clay following the rhythm of the hair. Now having them all in place, I can start refining the hair texture.
3 hours later.
The hair is done, we can bake it now. I was so happy finishing the hair, I totally forgot to add his eyebrows. Here you see me adding his little caterpillars. Those black bushy eyebrows give him a little bit more character at the end, so I have to do them. Ooh, bushy brows. They look good. Yeah. Better. That's it. Here we have the finished bust. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. It helps a lot growing the channel and also producing more and better content for you in the future. Drop a comment down below and let me know what you think about the video and also what you'd like to see maybe in the future.